Wake it up, lace it up, turn it up, tighten up.
Reps on the rep, numbers on the screen. Every single squat feeds the machine. Sweat on the floor, data in the veins. Power in my stride, charging up the game. Push through the burn, feel the meters climb. Every clean form, every perfect time. Body is the rig, motion is the code. Stronger every set, leveling the load. Tighten up, let the muscle mine. Every move turn an effort into shine. Step, lift, breathe.
Watch the count erupt. Highest power on the block when we tighten up.
Tighten up, feel the system sink. Each deep lunge like fuel-rich link.
Built from grit, never out of luck.
We don't give in, we just tighten up.
Tighten up, tighten up.
Wake at the dawn, hit another round. Calories to credits in the battleground. Friends in the gym, crew on the app. All of us aligned on the same roadmap.
Straps on the bar, heartbeat in a race. Chasing bigger stats while we shape this place. Steel in my core, fire in my lungs. Every single rep pays out in the long run.
Tighten up, let the muscle mine. Every move turn an effort into shine. Step, lift, breathe.
Watch the count erupt. Highest power on the block when we tighten up.
Tighten up, feel the system sink. Each deep lunge like a fuel-rich link.
Built from grit, never out of luck.
We don't give in, we just tighten up. Stack that strength, go the length, earn that crown.
Tighten up,
We don't power down. Hey, tighten up, let the muscle mine. Every move turn an effort into shine. Step, lift, breathe.
watch the count erupt. Highest power on the block when we tighten up.
Tighten up, feel the system sink. Each deep lunge like a fuel-rich link.
Built from grit, never out of luck.
We don't give in, we just tighten up.
Tighten up, tighten up. Face up tight, feel the ground shake. Every step's a dollar I make. Left foot, right foot, it's a game we play. Health and wealth in a single sway.
Step by step, watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time. Run, walk, jump, it's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy, redefine. Yeah, get healthy, get wealthy.
Redefine. What's my currency? No bank in sight. Sunrise to sunset, I own the night. Every stretch, every twist has a price. This grind pays twice, it's paradise. No excuses, no delay. Every motion makes my payday.
Yeah, hey, step by step, watch me climb.
Every move I'm cashing time.
Run, walk, jump,
It's all mine, get healthy, get wealthy.
yeah, hey, step by step.
Watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time.
Run, walk, jump,
It's all mine, get healthy, get wealthy. Redefine.
stumble, fall, I'm still in the race. Each bruise another badge I embrace. Momentum builds, can't erase the sound of coins in every pace. Every pace, every pace. Yeah, come out.
Get healthy, get wealthy, redefine.
Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome everybody to our Thursday night update call for MoveQuest, where we get more information about things that are going on inside of the MoveQuest world. Hope everybody's had a wonderful week thus far and continues to do so. I know Miss Lynette has some things that she definitely wants to share with the community. Hopefully it'll put a smile on a few people's face. But before we get started, I also want to share something that is coming down the pipe here within the MoveQuest community as well. Many of you have heard me talk on numerous occasions about my thoughts, and these are just my personal thoughts and feelings about this particular platform and the long-term potential and viability that it actually has. I know a lot of people are like, man, I'm putting out, but I may not see the results of that right away, or what have you. And then we have some that say, you know what, well, we need to advertise to, get more people to see what's going on inside the community, and and things of that nature. And I'm here to I'll be the first one to tell you, I want all of those things, just like the next man or woman, as far as this project is concerned. But at the same time, I look back, I like the fact that we have a solid foundation from an infrastructure standpoint. And when we take a step back and we look at what the infrastructure actually is, I believe that if we develop a culture within our ecosystem that is inviting, to people, that will attract people to MoveQuest, I believe that we could see a tremendous amount of positive impact in all of the things that we want. I know I only named two, and I know there's a whole list of others that many of you could probably share your thoughts and feelings on as well. That being said, and I mentioned this briefly the other day, but I believe without selling, without, putting ourselves too far out and things of that nature, there's things that we can do as a community to actually draw that attention to our environment, our culture, so to speak. But we need to form what that culture actually is. And with this being a health and wellness or a fitness app at its core, I truly believe that there's if you look at the crypto space, and which we definitely want to, cater to and expose ourselves to. But when you look at the crypto space and then you look at the health and wellness and the fitness world, that side of the world dwarfs the crypto space. And I believe that if we focus more attention, not all, but more of our attention to that world or what have you, then we could actually start realizing and seeing some of the things that we're all anticipating to happen. And I believe it's something that we can all actually do together. So that being said, I got to thinking about, what can we do? What can we do to actually help ourselves improve on what we have here? I believe we have a blank canvas that that can form into a true masterpiece. That being said, several things. Number one, I want the community's thoughts. I want the community's, ideas, if you will, so that, because I know a lot of times individually we have thoughts and ideas that, oh, that would be cool, or oh, we should do this, or we should do that. And again, I'm speaking in reference to activities and things that we could have that will attract others to the ecosystem. The non-technical, the things that we can't do from a programming perspective and so forth. However, in the next 24 hours, and I'll make sure we get all of this out to everyone, in the next 24 hours on MoveQuestChallenges.com, there will be a suggestion box where anybody in the community that feels like they have a good idea, please share that with us. Share that with us, whether you're in the community or, if you know somebody that's not in the community yet, that's doing something or that has some ideas or that you think can impact positively everything that we're trying to do with MoveQuest. I want to see those suggestions and let you know right now that there's people here to help and assist or take on things that actually fit the box that makes sense across the board. Because a lot of times when I look at MoveQuest, some of you have heard me use the analogy of a soccer field, and MoveQuest being that soccer field and different leagues, plugging into it. Tonight, I'm going to use a slightly different one, and I'm going to look at it like a movie theater. Look at MoveQuest like it's a movie theater. The actual infrastructure itself, it's been built, has a concession stand, has all the different cinemas where movies can be displayed and things of that nature. And when we go to the movies, we're going there for the experience. We spend way more on popcorn than we can go to the grocery store and get. We spend way more on drinks and candy and everything else because we want to be there to enjoy the experience. And the byproduct of that is everybody wins, as long as it's a good movie, of course. But everybody wins. And when you get to that movie theater, you see a good movie, you get to see other movies that are showing, or you also get to see up and coming movies that's coming out later that do what? They cause you to come back for another experience. And in my mind, if we can create enough enjoyable experiences within our ecosystem, we start everything starts taking on a whole different look, shape, and feel, because the engagement brings more people that's submitting and or participating in our ecosystem that over time will have to use MQT, whether people are mining on a daily basis or not. And that's the key thing that from my perspective that I want to get across, is that we're here on the ground floor of something that, yes, it's taking time, but it's being built to last. And if we can cultivate it from within, I believe it can truly grow. So I want to announce one thing that is an example of a project that but I need your help, the community's help, because I believe everybody should be involved if they possibly can. And I apologize. I thought I had this up and ready to go. Where is it? Where is it? I literally just did this, and I apologize. My computer has been acting up on me today, which was why we kind of started a little bit late. But hold on, we're gonna get it. We are going to get it up here. If not, I'm just gonna recreate it real quick. But so what I'm about to show you is an event that I believe could have some positive impact on and create some excitement. And I'm going to within the next few days, I'm going to make some posts and put some things up that I want people's feedback on, as to what your thoughts are on how we can implement it, or things that you see that you believe could be improved. And everything will be taken into consideration, because it needs to be a collective environment, and people need to feel like they have a voice, if you will, in the development of this project and the growth of it, because it's ours. And being a community driven project, I believe that is something that we can all, kind of stick our chests out and be happy about as time progresses. So I apologize. I just wanted to go in here real quick and reproduce what I did prior to the call, just as an example of what's coming. And it is going to be, present. Home. There we go. Share my screen real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and get to Miss Lynette. 1 second. There we go. Share. We're introducing what, as of right now, we are calling the MoveQuest Games. And with the MoveQuest Games, it is going to be a live streamed global fitness competition. And this competition is open to any and everyone, whether you are in MoveQuest or not. We want to share what we actually have over here with the world, or what have you. All of the different exercises and things like that that are going to be events that individuals can participate in will be formally listed with all the rules and guidelines. There will be male and female divisions. Depending upon participation, we will have a seniors division, and she doesn't know it yet, but some kind of way, I believe I'm going to be able to coerce. And again, she don't know this, but I'm gonna hit her with it now anyway. We may even be able to coerce Miss Lynette Arden to compete in one of the divisions or what have you as well. So some of your familiar faces will definitely be doing so. This event will probably be somewhere shortly after we launch on all the other chains, because I definitely want to, ride any momentum that is associated with or that comes with, the launch of the new chains and things of that nature, which will also make it a lot easier to, when we start advertising, we have different things going on, not just one track at that particular time. So sometime late May, early June-ish, somewhere in that ballpark, we'll get a definitive date. But all the information on this will be posted naturally on an ongoing basis inside of all of our socials. But you will always be able to go and get all the official information at MoveQuestChallenges.com. That is challenges with an S, no spaces, no underscores, no dots, no dashes. MoveQuestChallenges.com will host all of the information leading up to it. That will also that's also the location that the suggestion box for additional events and or updates or improvements to anything else that you see that may be going on, will be open to you to be able to provide that information. As we move forward with the MoveQuest games, there will also be opportunities for those of you that choose to want to participate from a organizational perspective, a management perspective. There are, just like the Olympic Games, right? You have you have your rules committee, you have your entry committee, you have different. We're going to need judges and things of that nature because we truly do want this to be a stellar first global event, hopefully to be something that could be hosted on an annual basis and eventually grow to the point to where it is produced or actually engaged in on location somewhere in the world on an annual basis. So I believe that this is something that could really grow and draw some attention to our ecosystem. And then after this, there's a couple of other thoughts and ideas that I have that, will go along and coincide with the things that you have. If you're under the sound of my voice right now or listening to the recording, if you are a fitness instructor, if you're an aerobics instructor, a Zumba instructor, and I didn't even know this until recently. I bought a course and I'm loving it right now. If we have any mobility coaches or mobility instructors, please reach out to me. I want to talk to you because these are some things that I think we can start implementing into our ecosystem to draw attention to MoveQuest and what it is that we have going on over here and actually start working on what our culture looks like to the masses. So I'm going to leave it there and allow Miss Lynette to go ahead and share what she wants to share with us this evening. And as soon as the site and everything is up here within the next day or so, I will make sure that everyone has access to that information so that we can hit the ground running. All right, Miss Lynette, or is that you? I didn't see you come in the other way. Did you dog straight in? There you go.
Yeah, for some reason lately, it's been bringing me in. What do you call it? Through my Zoom account, must be. I don't know. And I'm froze. My Cut that right off. See, my Zoom doesn't work the way it should on my computer when I have my video on. All right, so I was just catching up on some of the WhatsApps in the couple of the different groups real quick, messages. All right, well, let's get going. So let me bring up my document. I don't have it ready for a screen share yet, but I am going to explain to you what we're going to do. And then tomorrow, later in the afternoon, so here's what's going on right now. So Waleed is finishing up all of the new things that I gave him to do. And because of that, he pulled back the update that he had already submitted to the app stores for the USDT and USDC to be able to be used for your submissions. That way, we can just get all of the updates at one time. Makes it a lot easier when you have to wait on Apple and Android to do their, looking for a pen here so I can pick things off here on my list. Makes it easier just on the process all around. Doesn't take as long either. All right, so one of the things that I am happy about, hopefully you guys are too, you're starting to notice, I mean, it depends. It varies from day to day, but I just had an analysis done on the MoveQuest token for the last 6 months. And I actually just got the report back today, little while ago, not too long ago. Pretty impressive stuff that came across on that. I'm just going to go over some of the highlights of it because it would take too long if I read the whole report to you. Let me see here. Let me go up to this page. One question I have, I don't know if you guys, how much you research and study crypto and, market values, circulating supplies, against market values and FDVs and all that good stuff. But one thing do you guys have any idea what the average pool's liquidity depth is in any given project? What percentage to be in fluid does the average project have? That was one of the things that came back in the report that it was pretty impressive in my opinion. Let me try to find it in this document. I kind of had an idea of what those values were. Oh, let me see here. There's a lot to read. I'll make this available to all of you guys. I just want to have time to read through all of it too. When you go to like Deck Screener or even CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, it'll tell you that MoveQuest has a $129 million valuation that's based on 21 million MoveQuest tokens. But the true circulating market cap is actually 1.13 million because we only have 100, and actually, let me tell you exactly what we have, because at the time of this report, we had about 185,000 when I submitted it. We have 183,376 MoveQuest tokens. 183,376 MoveQuest tokens in circulation. Now, part of that valuation was also looking at how many of the MoveQuest tokens the community has in the hatcheries, because that also shows some different specs on our actual project and our tokenomics. And when you have, and I'm going to tell you exactly, we have 82.28% of the MoveQuest that is owned by the community.
And you're not
in the
right
hatcheries.
now, correct, Lynette? I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm not, because this
Okay.
report is not something I can share right now because I haven't gone through it yet completely. And there's a ton of information in it, and then I'm going to wait until I can get it. So I'm just kind of reading off of it. But basically, I'm just giving you guys the stats. So when you're looking at the FDV, the valuation on 21 million MoveQuest tokens at its current market value, it should have that, what did I say, 123 was around $123 million in the liquidity pool, $129 million. But we only have 184,000. But part of what was being reviewed and researched for the MoveQuest token over the last 6 months is what the community is, everything, because you guys, this is a community owned project, right? Everything is decentralized. Nobody's managing this. You're not, waiting for anybody to pay you to approve a withdrawal or anything. It's all managed by smart contracts. So everything is escrowed. And that's the way a crypto project should be done, because that's your security, right? You know that nobody's going to run off with your money. Nobody's going to not, click a button that says, oh, okay, go ahead and pay him, or don't pay him because I need to go buy myself a new car this week. Whatever these, other scams end up doing with the money that's supposed to be, the community's money. It's all managed by these smart contracts. You're in total control. And that's a good thing. And part of this review was, how strong is the community, albeit small? How strong is that community? We show extreme strength in our community because 82.28% of the MoveQuest that's owned by the community is in the hatcheries farming the MoveQuest token. So that's amazing. Okay, there's only, what is that, less than 18%, 17% of the MoveQuest is actually circulating. And so the actual liquid market value is 1.13 million. And currently we are sitting, I'm going to tell you exactly, 88.87%. It's almost 89% fluid. We're 11.13% away from having a completely fluid pool at its current market value. Now, when we were talking last week, I don't think it was, might have even been Tuesday, but probably last Thursday, MoveQuest had gone down, into the $5 range. And at that range, we were at about 17% away from being fluid, not quite at the 11%. So while the market value has gone up, now you guys, I want you to think about this. When the market value decreases, then it drops the amount of MoveQuest and USDT that's paired and injected as liquidity. Okay, because the market value is decreasing. As the market value increases, then it requires more liquidity, right, to bring it to a fluid state. Now, over a week and a half ago, when we were, playing in the $5 to $5.50 range, we weren't as fluid as we are right now. Now, what I'm trying to explain to you is, now that the market value is increasing, we're actually becoming more fluid, not because the market value is going up, but because the ecosystem and the algorithm knows that, okay, there's been a demand for the MoveQuest token. And so more liquidity needs to be added to stabilize that pool so it doesn't have that volatility, and that it can maintain that higher market value. So this is great because we're actually 6%, closer to being fluid at a higher market value than what we were at a lower market value. As the market decreases, it takes less liquidity to become fluid. As the market value increases, it takes more liquidity to become fluid. And so when I'm trying to explain to you how that ecosystem watches these market values and the selling pressure, the buyer's demand for the token, and then it can balance and make sure that that liquidity pool is stable based on the ecosystem, community engagement, what's staked for farming, what's in, the circulating supply, all of these, factors play into it. So it's very, it tells a very powerful story that the liquidity is increasing while the market value is going up. The fluid level is increasing, making it even more fluid. So that, to me, I'm excited about that because, when you got a small community, a couple thousand people, and you see heavy selling pressure, you would expect that market value would drop at extreme swings down. And then when you have the demand for the token, normally you would see extreme prices going up, and the liquidity is always getting further and further and further apart from what's needed to stay stable. Where here, as the market value is going up, the liquidity pool is stabilizing even more. It's not getting further away, it's actually getting closer to being fluid. So that's a very good, strong factor with the MoveQuest token. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about this a couple weeks back either. Our low, remember, with the current liquidity depth, the low token end, okay, the amount of, so it was like 76% of the people would be able to get between like $6 and I think it was $2.80 or something like that. Do you guys remember that? And then the remaining, 20% or so would get the lower market value of $2 or below. And that would be like if there was massive selling pressure on that 183 or 80, well, then it was like 185,000 MoveQuest tokens. Well, now what's happened, because of how the algorithm works and the ecosystem stabilizes, that new low is $4.78. And the $6.14 mark is about the current market value. So now what it's saying is that almost 89% of that 183,000 MoveQuest tokens that's circulating, if they were selling, would get between the $6.14 and $4.78 market range. And then there's only 11% that would get below $4.78. And that was if all of these were being sold. So you can see that it's even getting more stable. Okay, even as the market value is increasing. And then also the high that the liquidity pool or that the ecosystem could support was right around the $3 or $33 range. I think it was $33 and like 67 cents or 33 cents, something like that. Well, now it's $34.67. So it's also stating that it can now stabilize an even higher market value as it goes up. Now, when I say it can stabilize, what that means is maintaining its current fluid level. It doesn't mean that, it couldn't go higher and support it. It just means that right now, to be able to maintain an 89% fluid pool, meaning we're only 11% away from being completely fluid, where every token that was sold would get between the $6.14 and $4.78 range, right? So it can support a higher market value at $34.67 and still be able to maintain 89% fluid level. So that's another very strong point on this token. One of the other things that came back in that review is that most of your altcoins, when you're looking at liquidity versus the circulating value, and honestly, guys, this is a very critical metric when you're looking at projects and longevity and stability. So with our current liquidity, with our current circulating value, our liquidity coverage ratio, okay, being 89% backed by liquidity. Okay, that's super strong. Most of your altcoin projects only can back their liquidity with 5 to 15%. That's it. Strong projects can back their liquidity with 20 to 40%. MoveQuest is backing their liquidity with 89% liquidity. Okay, this tells you everything about price stability, project stability, longevity of a project. So some people, don't completely, when you're looking at projects, they say, well, MoveQuest should be higher by now, or MoveQuest should be this, or MoveQuest should be that. What you guys need to understand is that what MoveQuest is doing is building a very solid foundation, a very strong infrastructure. And this way, when things do take off, you're not sitting here with not enough liquidity, inflated market values, high and very, wide high and low swings with volatility. So all it's doing is getting stronger and stronger and stronger as we go along. And that's a big deal. I mean, that's super, super important. And you guys are the reason why. Okay, this community does see where this project is going, what it looks like future wise. Not only that, but your health benefits and everything else that you get just from using the app. You guys are, farming that MoveQuest in the hatcheries with the ecosystem, as MoveQuest comes back in through the ecosystem from purchases and use of that token, the utility. It doesn't go into my pocket, Waleed's pocket, any of our team's pockets. It goes back into the vault. Okay, so for future liquidity. So every time MoveQuest is used, you know that it's stabilizing that liquidity pool. That is future liquidity that's going to be paired to USDT. It's not tokens that are going to be sold. So you don't have a project that's competing with itself or with its community, right, for market value. Plus, it reduces that circulating float. It recycles the tokens back through the ecosystem, making it even more strong. And so it's funny because when the review came back, it actually says in here how different MoveQuest is and how the features of MoveQuest literally stabilize this project for those for that long-term stability, that long-term growth, and the longevity of the project for many, many, many years. And it is fully decentralized. You can get involved in a project and say, oh yeah, we're decentralized. You know what they call that? Well, we're on the blockchain. Okay, they don't mean diddly squat, honestly. When it's truly decentralized, there is no person in the middle managing anything that you do. Not only that, but we don't rely on new money coming in. We don't rely on new investors. The project doesn't need that, okay, to sustain itself. What it needs from a growing community, right? The growth of the community is the engagement within the ecosystem. That's what continues to strengthen the liquidity pool. That's what strengthens the higher market values and backs it with that liquidity. But it's not required. And proof in the pudding is we've been building this project for 4.5 years on the development side. On the community side, been mining on Avalanche since August 1st of 2025. Now, 99.9% of your projects do rely on that new money coming in constantly, that inflow of that investor money. And they're gone by now because people get, worn down. It's like, oh, this project isn't going to take off. It's not going to make it. It's not going to go. Okay, we haven't grown in leaps and bounds. We're talking about a community of 2,000 to 2,500 people. And to be able to maintain a strong market value, and trust me, when we're looking at market values, anything over a dime, okay, in the crypto space, in today's, projects, you're doing really, really, really good. And in the move to earn space, you're doing amazing. We're the only project that has a market value that is in the move to earn space that doesn't drop well under $1 or well under 50 cents. In fact, we've never seen those prices. MoveQuest has never seen those prices ever, not once. We listed at $1 and we've never been below it. So we've never gone back down to that market value of the token. Now, in the very beginning, because of the excitement and everything, it did, go up to true $110 market value. But then there was a couple of little, I like to call them the first market makers, made a couple of really stupid moves and drove it up to $125. But that was not a strong market value. And of course, it dropped right back down to that 110. And then over a couple of months, you'd start to see it drop into the 70 and the 60, which is normal, okay, when a token hits the market the first time. We had lots of momentum when we decided to do a rebrand of the entire app and the branding of the project and all that good stuff. And, everybody kind of took a break for a while. But now getting back into the swing of things, I hope you guys understand, like, this is a very strong market value. And people are able to sell without it crashing the market value of the token. And it's a pretty consistent sell rate. It's the buying rate, that you want to see increasing, which that has been doing. Yesterday and today, 2 days in a row, the demand for the token was higher than the selling pressure. So and you'll start to see that more and more and more, especially as the amount of MoveQuest that's in circulation continues to decrease. The other thing that is very strong, when you go back, the last couple of months or, a few months back, you're looking at a liquidity pool that would have 18,000, 25,000 MoveQuest tokens to $200,000 or $300,000 of USDT paired to that amount. Where now you're seeing it getting closer to the 100,000 mark. Okay, it's currently at 71,101 MoveQuest tokens inside that liquidity pool, paired to almost $500,000. Okay, so it's at about $878,000 in the liquidity. And I had told you guys a couple days ago that just based on the algorithms of what the ecosystem was doing and what the community was doing, that we should see it hit close to that $900,000 mark, which is great because that only leaves us about 100,000 shy of being fluid. And we're pushing back up there. I think 2 or 3 days ago it was at 752,000 in the liquidity pool. So just in the last couple of days, it's added over $125,000, $130,000 in the liquidity pool, because after it tried to test the resistance by, of where its low was, that $5-ish mark, it, did some, market corrections and tested new market values to see where it should pad that liquidity, add in that extra liquidity to stabilize the market. And it found it to be in the $5.98 to the $6 range. Okay, and so that's where you started to see that heavy push again with the liquidity. And so it's starting to push it up into that $900,000 mark, the $1.1 million mark. So we should see a fluid pool over the next, 3 days to a week with the current market value. Now, if the market value increases, it might take a little bit longer, but that's where we're sitting with the current market levels, which is really, really good. Let me see what else is in this document. The review came back that we have a very tight supply and a very and strong liquidity support, price stability, and that we have that long-term growth potential. Okay, those are really good things to have come back, right? When you're getting a review done on your project. So I was excited about that. So I'll share that with you guys as well. Okay, so now let's get to my updates. All these things should be really exciting to everybody to hear that. You know what I mean? I get excited about it because I love to see things becoming stable. I'm kind of a perfectionist, Waleed is as well. And so is the core team when it comes to a lot of things that are being done for this project. So when you see things all coming together and, everything that you've worked so hard for actually taking place, albeit at a smaller level, but it's so much easier to make this happen at the smaller level than it is to see it go crazy too fast and then try to compensate, right, for too fast growth. And so what we're doing now is we're just prepping ourselves for that faster growth. That's a good thing. And that's even better, stability-wise. All right, we've been talking about submission, proof of physical activity submission. So one thing that has always been top priority on my list is no barrier of entry into this project, no matter what your financial status is, right? Those that can afford it can go and level up into higher powered miners and the boosts and all the different things that you can do. But to make it available to everybody to be able to use. So you're going to see some more things added to help make that happen. And it doesn't hurt the project, right? Because we are the manufacturer of this whole project, right? We have no third parties involved in any of our development. We don't use anybody's software. We've written everything from scratch to make sure that it's done properly and that, there can be no malicious attacks or no bad actors down the road. We own it all. It's all created by us from scratch. And so everything that we do, it doesn't hurt the project. Okay. Like I said earlier, we don't rely on new money coming in. So all of these things that we can add to this project, one, it just proves it, and two, it just makes it stronger, and it allows more people to get involved. And there's so many people that aren't involved in the crypto space, and it can be kind of scary for new people because crypto isn't a scam. And I say this so many times in a week. Crypto is not a scam. It's these project creators that scam people. There's a big difference between the two, and you have to be able to decipher the genuinely true built projects from the ones that are the scams. And, being involved in crypto since the very beginning, early on, the end of 2008, but really 2009, and then really digging in deep 2014, I have spent a lot of years researching and learning crypto at a level that most people haven't taken the time to do. And so I understand it in a different way when it comes to creating these projects. I think sometimes these project creators have good intentions, and then I think sometimes they don't have good intentions. But the bottom line is you yourself need to understand what to look for, what to stay away from. And so the best way to do that with MoveQuest, one, when you get involved with our project, if you don't know anything about crypto, I guarantee you by the time you're done getting all set up, funding your wallet for those gas fees and that proof of physical activity that gets recorded to the blockchain, and you start mining every day, give it 30 to 45 days and you'll be well on your way to understanding one, how wonderful crypto is, how exciting it is, and three, what to look for so you don't get swept up into that, swamp of crypto scams that are out there. So to get started, Q chips. Okay, you guys make mental notes of this because you're going to get a document tomorrow. It'll be on the website that's going to explain all of this as well. Q chips are an ERC20 token. Okay, just like the MoveQuest token. Right now, we've put a market value of 10 cents on them. Okay, they are not listed. At some point in time, they will be listed. The Q chips are used for people that need to do the pay as you go on the miners. They just spend a little extra on their submissions. It gives them Q chips. And then once they've accumulated 1,000 of these Q chips, I believe it's 1,000, they can mint a Trailblazer miner. Okay. And that allows people to work towards it. They are also in the store so you can buy the Q chips. So when people are buying the Q chips, what goes into that Q chip contract will stay there to back the liquidity of the Q chip, okay, the Quest chip token. So that contract won't spend or claim or do anything with that. That's future liquidity. Now, with that being said, every time you submit, now it can't be with phantoms because you're mining with virtual miners. They're not the actual NFT miners, but I'm going to show you how you're going to get those NFT miners very easily. When you submit your proof of physical activity, regardless of what type of miner you're mining with, okay, so let's say you're mining with 18 Trailblazers, and let's say that proof of physical activity is $1.80, okay, for the day. You're going to get $1.80 worth of Q chips. And those have that 10 cent value. Now, if you're mining with Titans and it's $7, and I think it's $7.40 to mine something like that a day. So now remember, those Q chips they have a value of 10 cents. They will be listed. It's all of the Q chip, because see, when people are buying the Q chips, right, AVAX goes into that contract. And I'll probably have Waleed switch it up to USDT just so that it can stabilize that market value on it. But let's just say you're mining with 18 Titans at $7. and you're going to get, what is it, 720 Q chips. That's a lot of Q chips, right? Is it 720? I have to use a calculator for simple math. This craziness. 72. I'm sorry. You'll get 72 of those Q chips. You get 18 when you're mining with the 18 Trailblazers. You'll get 72. Charlie, get in your crate. Go. Come in. Sorry. Come on, Charlie, go. Crazy dog. Sorry, guys. Trying to get Charlie in his crate to go to bed. He don't like to listen. He's got a mind of his own. It's like 5 2-year-olds running around the house. Okay, so that's the Q chips. Now that's a good thing. Maybe you guys will say, "Oh, yeah, but you can't. We can't sell them right now." No, you can't sell them right now. But every time you submit, you're going to get equal value in those Q chips. Okay, so that's the first perk of submitting. Now it's not just submitting to submit. Secondly, all of the crypto, okay, because people buy the Q chips, right? They buy them for minting of the miners. If you want to mint a Trailblazer, or you want to mint, or at the pay as you go, I guess it is. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's in the store already to buy the Q chips, so you can do the pay as you go. I believe you can buy the Q chips as well, but that brings in AVAX or USDT. That money will stay in that contract, okay, for the Q chip liquidity. When people mint the Trailblazers, 50% is paid out in commission. Okay, that's a direct sale, but that's already what do you call it? Escrowed in that smart contract. So think about this, you guys. If I have, well, the project will probably take its 10%. That's already allocated as well, but you'll see what isn't in that contract. So you have somebody who wants to mint the Trailblazers. They go buy the Q chips, whether they do the pay as you go or whether they just buy them outright. That AVAX or that USDT is automatically escrowed in that smart contract. So your 50% direct commission already comes out. The project's 10% comes out, and it leaves 40% remaining. So think about that. As we have this growth coming in, as the community is expanding, you are getting these Q chips. They're just being given to you. There's no pre-sale. Okay, so we're not selling a token at a discounted market value, okay, which devalues the token right out of the gate. So whatever you would have spent, you're going to lose on it right away unless you're always fast, to enter, quick to exit. So that's not how this token, it works. You submit, you'll get those Q chips. Now, you can use those Q chips to level up your miners. So 50% can be used of those Q chips to level up. So you can go to the evolution feature and you can use 50%. It's 50% USDT, I believe, in the evolution, and 50, or no, maybe it's all MQT now. So it'd be 50% MQT, 50% Q chip. And I think you have the choice to do USDT. This is really bad, right? When I can't even remember what the evolution is. I evolved my miners a long time ago. And so I have to go back and look at that process. But that's a good thing now, right? Because you're mining the MoveQuest, you're submitting, and you're getting the Q chip. So you can actually, the more you move, the more you mine the MoveQuest, the more often you submit, the more Q chips you're getting, and you can take those and you can level up your miners. There is not a hatchery for the Q chip, none of that, okay? You're just going to use them or you're going to hold them. Because I have not yet given you guys all of the tokenomics and exactly how that will work. There are more of the Q chip. When they come into the system, a percentage of them will be removed and never used again in circulation, which will decrease the supply. And then a percentage will be used to pair for that liquidity. But we want that to not compete with MoveQuest. the MQT token. And so it will have its own pool, and it will grow on its own. So every day you guys are submitting, you're getting that Q chip for free. It's not going to cost you anything. So that really, if you spend $7.20 to submit, we're giving you $7.20 worth of Q chips. Okay, now today that may not seem like a lot, but if that token lists at $1 and it goes up to $2 or $3 or $5, okay, you're already getting more back on that proof of physical activity. Okay, so that's one way that makes your proof of physical activity no cost to you, right? Because we're giving you equal value back in that Q chip. Plus, it's building up its own liquidity based on community growth. So the more people that come in, mint trailblazers to start mining, you're getting 40% of that into that pool. Now, I'm running the metrics. We may pair that to MoveQuest and to USDT, the Q chip. Okay, and that way they would interact. It depends on where that Q chip is going to sit. Now, this can happen fast that it's listed, or it could happen a year or two down the road. It's all going to be based on the liquidity depth, community growth, and a lot of different things. So again, it all is based on that growth. Now, I heard Herschel talking earlier about, spending marketing money. Okay, you guys got to remember something. Okay, the project operates on 10%. Now, when you look at that number, you're not going to see millions upon millions of dollars being spent on marketing. I can't remember exactly what. It was hundreds of millions of dollars that Stepin spent. And you know whose money they spent to do that marketing? They spent the pre-sale money on those tokens, money that was coming in through the NFTs. They didn't put it to liquidity. They spent it, in my opinion, on stupid stuff. Okay. Testimonials, positive stories. That's what brings in a solid user base, right? When people hear those good stories. But if we were to take, a few $1 million and go spend it on marketing, one, is it really going to do what we want it to do? And two, we're taking it away from your liquidity pool. So, then we'd have to go in and change the algorithm and say, okay, so now the project is only going to do 70%. Put towards liquidity. We never want to do that, because this is probably, I know for a fact, if you're looking at projects, not blockchain, but projects, I would bet that this is probably the most stable crypto project in the market. And I know that's an arrogant thing to say, but I know how this is developed and created, and I know how this whole thing loops and works. You're not going to find a project that leaves 90% of the community's transactions inside the pool. I've never been able to find one, and I would challenge anybody to go find one that does that. That tells a big story too. Okay, when this project can operate on 10% and it's still here 4.5 years later, tell me we're doing something wrong. We're not. Everything we're doing is right. We're here, we're strong. We've got an amazing market value on this token for the size of the community for it to be able to maintain that. Those are the things that you need to understand about this project when people ask you, what makes this different? What makes this better? What makes this, not, a scam or whatever, people are afraid of crypto projects, and rightfully so. So you've got to be able to give them that strong feedback as to what makes MoveQuest different. And so we don't go out and waste money, right? I would rather not spend, 3 to 5 million. And trust me, most of these other projects, they don't spend 3 to 5 million. They're spending 20, 30, $40 million on marketing, because marketing isn't cheap, and to get it in front of the right people. So I would rather see the community grow as it should grow, word of mouth. And of course, we could do a whole lot more word of mouth. We will do some marketing. We do have some marketing that's coming up, but we're not going to spend over our budget. Okay, because we don't sell the MoveQuest. We don't take it from the community's pool. This is a self-sustaining ecosystem for a reason. And none of you want us to change that dynamic. and we won't change the dynamic because that's why this works. So I would rather have it grow in true time, word of mouth, those positive stories, those life transformations because your health is better, you're feeling better, you've lost weight, and the market value will go up. And when that liquidity pool reaches that real good fluid level and you start to see that growth, when the market value starts to really move up, the public's going to hit this anyway. When we deploy our blockchain, when we release the MQT Pay wallet, and when we get verified on CoinMarketCap, when all this is done, and you see it verified on CoinGecko and these other different platforms, you will start to see this thing take off. Well, you want to see it take off and be able to continue to be stable. You don't want to see an inflated market value. You don't want to see those high volatility, high swings, low swings. You will see price fluctuation go up and down, but you can see just from watching it yourselves how stable it is. And when the price goes up, you shouldn't see it stable, like it is. It's getting more and more stable. The liquidity should be not going up. It should either be staying the same or going down because the buys and the sells are close to 50-50. But you're not. You're seeing that liquidity pool increase regardless of the buying or the selling. So those are all good things. All right, now that is on the Q chips. We are going to be, let me see. Okay, that's that section. Okay. Now, ongoing, another thing that was said here a couple of weeks ago. You guys, I listen to what you guys say. I may not comment a lot, but I do listen, and then which is really good for brainstorming because I'm a thinker. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, okay, this is what we need to do. Putting these puzzle pieces together, right, for that strength of this project. When we lack the MoveQuest, one of the things that had come up was if it's too expensive for people to mint the miners, there's not enough in circulation for the leasing or for us to scale. Okay, we will always scale. Like I told you guys before, I remember when the Gallon node came out at $500 and then they were selling for $500,000. Okay, they were still selling Gallon nodes. They probably still are selling Gallon nodes. I don't know. I don't keep up with that project. But at any rate, at that point, the market value is so high, you don't need 18, even if you're just, getting a fraction of a MoveQuest token is still really doing very well, okay, in this project. Because as that market value increases, you aren't going to need 18 of them for it to make a decent revenue. Okay, those people that are in the beginning of a project, of course, you're bagging those MoveQuest tokens if you're smart. And so you are going to be the ones that have like the early Bitcoiners, right? Who make all that money when they're buying them at, $1 or $2 or $3 or $100, even a couple $1,000. But people right now, even now getting involved in Bitcoin, you're still profiting. That's why people still buy it. That's why their market cap continues to increase. Yeah, you're going to see those low swings because now it's kind of mainstream, it's with futures and all these different things. So your banks and your large holders, they really can make that market value fluctuate on demand if they want to, just with heavy selling. But it always comes back up, that market value. And Bitcoin, I'm confident will hit $500,000 in a short time frame. Like we'll see it in our lifetime. We'll see it in the next 5 to 10 years. And I have no doubt in my mind that Bitcoin will hit $1 million. Imagine all those people early on holding that Bitcoin, what they've made, what they're doing. Now, when we're talking about MoveQuest, my whole point of this is people don't need all of that massive equipment and computer power, right, to mine Bitcoin. So while Bitcoin is harder to mine, MoveQuest won't be harder to mine because you're moving your body. Okay, the more you move, the more MoveQuest you're mining, the more data, it just reads the data. It doesn't store it, save it, share it, or sell it, but it reads the data that's coming in from your fitness device, and it computes these hashes that generates the hash that you record to the blockchain to validate what your proof of physical activity is. So the more you move, the more MoveQuest you're mining. If you're in the hatcheries, you're able to farm even more MoveQuest for that same proof of physical activity. Now you're getting equal value back in Q-chips. So really it makes your proof of physical activity submissions, it pretty much, that balances it right out. It's a wash, right? Because you're getting that back in the Q-chip. Now what we're going to do, as soon as this is done, it should be ready, I would say, before the end of the weekend anyway. The navigators, for a while we ran those promotions. You unlocked the mining dot slot, you were getting the Trailblazer miners. We ran that for a few months, and then we moved it to the navigators. Okay, you won't be getting miners through the mining dot slot. So you'll unlock your mining dot slot to plug in your miners. But what we are going to do, and it isn't retro, okay, you guys, it's too much on a smart contract that times out on the gas fees and all this other stuff, to be able to go and dig up this data from the past. So the minute this goes live, and we'll let you know, the navigator miners will no longer be given out of the mining dock slots. A person will have to mine with 1,800% mining power. Okay, so it can be phantom miners. Now, what are phantom miners? They're free. They're virtual miners. They don't cost you anything except that proof of physical activity to submit and validate that physical activity to the blockchain. That's validating your mining yield. And then you've got the gas fees on whichever blockchain you're submitting from. So on AVAX, it would be AVAX. On the Binance Smart Chain, it would be BNB coin. Okay. That's all you need if you're doing the phantoms. That right there in and of itself is amazing. Now, if you're mining with phantoms and submitting, you don't get the matching Q-chip. And that's on purpose because you're not mining with the NFT miners, you're mining with the virtual miners. And so you haven't earned or minted those Trailblazer miners. Now, this will be ongoing. I don't have any time frame that this will be cut off. Okay, if this is successful and it's widely liked and it helps with, you know, the growth of the community, we can leave it up forever. Okay, so I have no end date to this, but you will mine with a minimum of 1,800% mining power, and you mine and you submit that proof of physical activity to the blockchain for 120 days out of your 135-day phantom lifespan. Okay, remember the phantoms disappear after 135 days. Now, here's the next thing. Let's say still after 135 days, you can't afford to net miners, right? All you have to do is create a new wallet and claim 18 phantom miners and continue to mine. Now, if you're in the hatchery, that new mining wallet won't count for your hatchery farming, but you can always create a new, hatchery card and farm more MoveQuest on that. So I'm just telling you that because it is a way that you can do that. Now, once you've mined and submitted 120 days within that 135-day phantom lifespan, you're going to receive 4 navigator miners. 4 of those, which that's really good. That's $200. Okay, now if you submit for 120 days, it's going to cost you roughly that $200. So now your proof of physical activity submission costs are given back to you in miners. Again, what I'm trying to do is make sure that everybody has value aside from just the validation of that physical activity to the blockchain. So if you mine, and I'm going to do this real quickly because I can't do it in my head. I could if I wanted to take time to think, but I'm too focused on this, so I can't do numbers and this at the same time. But you've got 120 days times that by $1.80 on 18. That's $216. Okay, that you would spend on proof of physical activity submission fees on a phantom miner. And so in 120 days, you're going to get 4 navigators, and that's $200 worth of miners. Okay, now you have navigators. Now, when you submit with your navigators, now you're starting to gather up the Q-chips. So every time you submit with those 4 navigator miners, you're going to get matching value in Q-chips. Now, you don't have a requirement on the submission fee and Q-chip match, okay? You're mining with one miner and submitting. If you spend 10 cents to submit that proof of physical activity on a Trailblazer, you're going to get one Q-chip every single day. Now, you get enough of those, and now you're able to take those 4 navigators, and you're able to upgrade them with the Q-chips that you're getting from submitting with the navigators. Now, this will take you time, but it's a way to do it, right? In the long run, without having to spend money out of your pocket to get involved with MoveQuest. You can completely do this without spending that money. Longer, yes, but is it worth it to you? It would be worth it to me. It would be a way for me to get involved in something, learn crypto, not have to worry about losing my money. And all I have to do is cover my proof of physical activity costs. And then I'm going to get my 4 navigators. Now, here's what let's say you go out and you share this with somebody, right? Just this concept alone. And they activate their mining wallet using your activation code, which is your wallet address that you're mining with, or, to whatever wallet address you're mining with. You're also going to get 4 navigator miners as long as you submitted 120 out of the 135 days. Whether you're mining with phantoms or regular miners, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're mining with Trailblazers, Explorers, Navigators, Vanguards, or Titans. But if you shared this project with somebody, they started out with phantoms or regular miners, it doesn't matter. They're still going to get the 4 Trailblazer miners. Doesn't matter if they already have the NFT miners and they're mining with them. So somebody could start out right away, mint their miners, so they have higher powered miners. They're still going to get the 4 navigators. Now you're going to get the Q-chips. You're able to level those miners up using the Q-chips and the MoveQuest. Now you're able to start increasing that miner inventory for leasing, which will give the inventory that is needed when we lock the MQT, so we don't have a massive scarcity there. Now, while Lead is finishing this up, he's actually doing the final testing on it. You see how I tell you guys that you can't always rely on specific dates on things, because if I do create something new for him, he has to code it, create the contracts, test them, deploy them, get it approved by the app stores, and then he goes back to whatever he was doing and praying that I don't come up with something in the next few days. But when I told you that MoveQuest is always evolving, it is always evolving, but it's always evolving to the benefit of the community. So what I've shared with you tonight is I cannot change the dynamics of the algorithm and the ecosystem when it comes to the structure. If we were to lower the submission fees, right, proof of physical activity, we would have to adjust the mining. And so it's not going to be any different. You guys are going to still be in the same situation. You're still going to say, well, if the market value is low, I'm not mining them a MoveQuest to cover a penny a day, whatever. I'm just saying whatever, it wouldn't matter if it was a penny a day or if it was $100 a day. It would still be the same dynamic because it has to adjust accordingly to what the ecosystem can support. So best way to counter that is to give you the Q-chip, right? And then you can do with those Q-chips what you want. You can use them within the ecosystem. They're just like money within the app or the website or whatever until it's listed. Those of you that don't need to use them would just bank them and hold on to them. You'll be the future market makers when it goes to the exchange. By then, I think it would have a very strong liquidity pool. It won't compete with the MQT token. It allows people, like I said, to get started and to know that you have value there. So even the cost of that proof of physical activity is still giving you back value. And while it might be future profit value, at least you do have that. You can use that within the ecosystem. So now your proof of physical activity submission fees to validate that movement on the blockchain, you can now do many things within the ecosystem level up your miners. Like I said, there'll be several things that you'll be able to do with those Q chips. So you're going to be able to put that to good use and to, put it to work for yourselves. Let me see if I'm missing anything else. Okay. Nope, I think that's everything. That's quite a bit. So hopefully you guys are super excited about that, and hopefully it makes sense. So now think about it like this. You share MoveQuest with somebody, they want to mint 18 Trailblazers. Okay, I'm just going to say 18 Trailblazers. That's $1,800 to mint those because they're 100 a piece. Now, if they go and share it with two people who do the exact same thing, we have a direct affiliate commission that pays 50%. So now, if you've shared it with two people who mint the 18, you've got your $1,800 back just like that. Now, remember, this is smart contract managed. So those of you who have teams, the best way to do that is to get everybody set up on the Phantom miners. Go get your 18 Phantom miners, start, mining, learn what this project is, get a little bit of, understanding about the project. In the meantime, you share it with two people, and if you can see this, it would start to really explode. Because if you can get a solid team and on one day you guys say, okay, look, today's the day we're going to mint, make sure you've got your wallets funded, and everybody goes and mints their 18 Trailblazers, you've got your Trailblazer money back immediately, instantly. So you don't lose money on your miners when you share the app. That's the only piece here that rewards you, is that direct commission of 50%. Now, the other 50% is going into, 40% of it is going in towards the Q chip. Okay, so now those of you who are submitting, you get that Q chip. As the community is growing, you're going to have those two tokens. You're not mining the Q chip token. You only get this through that proof of physical activity. So you can buy the Q chip to mint miners, and that's fine too. And it pays, like I said, pays the commission, but that will be what backs the liquidity on that Q chip token. That gives you, that shows you there's value in getting that Q chip match on that proof of physical activity that you're submitting to. So tomorrow, you guys will have this all written up to explain it to you, and hopefully you guys love this. I absolutely love it. We were brainstorming the other day, and I was in the core group WhatsApp chat, and I just, kind of thrown out there, this is what would happen if we lowered the proof of physical activity submission fee. And then I would have to just, slice down the dynamic mining to a lower amount to match it. And we kind of threw it around, and I come back and I'm like, I figured out how we're going to do this. And I put it all out there, and there was some debate going on in there, which I didn't understand some of it, but I have really thought on this for the last few days, and I've done all the math work on it, the research on it, all the scenarios on it. It's a win-win. It's a big, big plus. And it allows anybody to get started without having to spend money. And it gives you value more than just validating that proof of physical activity on the blockchain. So with that, I'm going to hand this back over to you, Herschel or Hayden, whoever is still here. I don't see anybody up on the panel.
Yeah, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yes, and no, I like that and that concept, and it goes hand in hand is with what I was sharing at the beginning of the call. If we have an environment where people are engaged, they're coming, they're seeing something, they can't help but ask, okay, well, what is MoveQuest? And when they can get signed up, try the system out. I know we want to get them on 18 Phantoms, but even if they get 2 or 3 to get started, they're engaged. As long as we have things going on, then over time, they become full-fledged, minor holders, whether it be because they accumulated, they did it long enough to accumulate enough MQT to get their miners, or whether they're, like, well, man, I want to go ahead and go, full steam ahead. And if different events require you to be mining at a certain level, and those events are highly sought after, that also encourages people to actually level up their mining capacity as well, or have to rent them from someone in order to participate. So it opens up a whole nother, you know, realm of possibilities across the board. But real quick on those Q chips, number one, will they be wrapped like our token, where if person is getting Q chips right now on the Avalanche chain, will they be able to, leverage them on the MoveQuest chain or Solana or any of the other chains, or no?
Yes, just
Yes.
like any other token that we have.
Okay, perfect. So that's a good thing. And those tokens or the Q chips are transferable. So if I had a buddy that was 3 Q chips short from doing something, could I send him 3 Q chips?
Yes, you can.
Perfect. All right, let's see. And have the Q chips been sent out yet?
They are in the process, so some have already received them, and they should complete probably, I would say, around 11 or 12 o'clock tonight.
Okay, perfect. Let's see here. Let me see. And had a couple questions in reference to the information that you were reading at the beginning of the call. Just curious to know who did that analysis or that evaluation that provided that information.
I have belonged to a group of crypto, I mean, they call themselves the crypto experts. We're a private group and we collaborate with each other. And I just requested that it be done. I didn't use a company. I didn't use, it's not something that I hired done. It was done at my request as a favor. This is what they do. And I'm going to, I'm not going to, it's not a publicly published review. Now,
Gotcha.
when we have that done, that's fine, but that's what they do. They analyze and they get a lot of information from me. I trust them more than I do any hired service that's just going to throw it in some machine and come back with something, they actually critiqued it. They actually, tested all of this information that I gave them and took the smart contracts and it took them it was almost 2 weeks before I got the report back from them. So it was a private report to me just because I wanted feedback on a different level, but not one, like I said, that was hired. So yeah.
Okay. Perfect. 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 Um, once the coin, let's say we get to a fluid token, um, that's not synonymous with a stable coin, right? And won't be
Okay,
subject
so
to any type of.
now let me explain real quick because I already read that question. One, we're not a stable token. We don't claim to be a stable token, and you'll have to notice and you have to listen really close to what I say. I didn't say we're a stable token. I said a stable liquidity or a fluid liquidity pool that stabilizes the market value of what that token is. It's a big difference between the two. We are not a stable token. We don't even want to be a stable token. That would be the dumbest thing in the world to do. I do not want just MoveQuest to have a $1 market value. Now, a stable token is equal to the US dollar within a penny, 99 cents to a dollar. That is not what this is. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about a fluid liquidity pool, a stable liquidity pool. You never see that. Okay, never, 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 never. Now your stable tokens, they have to stay within a percentage regulation wise. That's not what we are, nor do we claim to be a stable token. We never will be a stable token. This is all about a stable liquidity pool, a fluid liquidity pool. We love to say, okay, if MoveQuest is at $6.16, every single token within the ecosystem would be able to sell between this market value and that market value, which currently is $6.16 and $4 and I think it was 84 cents without looking at my charts. That's what we're describing. So nowhere did I say we would be a stable token, but we would be like what a stable token would be at that market value. But we're not a stable token. We're not trying to be a stable token. What we are trying to be is a very stable liquidity pool so that everybody that's involved in the MoveQuest project can feel secure that this market on this token is strong and stable, and you don't have to watch the market value like a hawk because you're afraid you're going to lose if you fall asleep for an hour. Okay, so hopefully you guys understand what I mean by that.
Perfect. Let's see. It's only a handful of them there.
I'm looking at them right now. Sarah document discloses the current value of each miner. Yeah, there's all kinds of documentation on the website. I think the light paper is there. So navigators, they're $50. Trailblazers are 100. The explorers are 150. The vanguards are 175. I believe they might have gone up. I think we might have moved them to 200. I have to look at that and see. I know we're going to move them to 200 because they're 200% mining power. And then the Titans, when you in order to get a Titan, okay, you have to level up. So once you've leveled up from all of these prior miners, Navigator, Trailblazer, Explorer, Vanguard, it would cost in total $800 for a Titan. Now, when you level up using the evolution, let's say you took Vanguard and you used Q-chips and MQT to level up to a Trailblazer, it would cost you $50. Okay, so now you've spent $100. Then you can level up, and all the way to level to a Titan would cost you $800 to get from Navigator to Titan. That's what those values are. They're all over the place. I mean, you can find documentation on that. Now, when they begin to increase in market value is when we lock the MoveQuest. So let's say MoveQuest is $100 today. And it would mean it would take one MoveQuest to mint a Trailblazer. Now, when we say lock the MoveQuest, that means it would always take one MoveQuest to mint a Trailblazer. So if MoveQuest reaches $1,000, it would mean that a Trailblazer has a market value of $1,000. And so it would no longer have a static value. It would now have that dynamic value based on demand for those NFT miners.
Which conversely means that if the price went down to $50, it would take $50 to get one as well, kind of like the housing market. Kind of fluctuates, maybe not as dramatic, but
I can tell you with almost 100% certainty that that would never happen because we won't lock the MoveQuest until we know the market value has enough liquidity depth to stay above the $100 mark. I would just tell you that right now. Like the ecosystem and the algorithms and everything that's in play, it would never do that until it's supported, one, with liquidity, and two, with the demand, and three, the size of the community. There's so many factors that play into when that MoveQuest locks that you wouldn't risk. I mean, if it went down, let's say, and it won't lock at $100 because we'll hit $100 before that time. But let's just say it did lock, and I'm going to tell you it wouldn't lock there. But if it did, then you might see it go down a little. But the liquidity, if it did lock at the $100 mark, would be stable enough that it wouldn't be able to drop more than $4 or $5. Okay, so you wouldn't ever see it go down to that $50 mark unless everybody just threw their hands in the air and said, we hate MoveQuest, we're going to sell our tokens, we're done mining, and boom, everybody just quit today. That's the only way MoveQuest would ever end, is that every single person in the community just quit. It'd be done. Because then it's sustained by the engagement of the community. If the engagement of the community ends, well, then there's nothing there. There's nobody mining, there's nobody buying, there's nobody selling, there's nothing going on. It'd be done. That is never going to happen. Okay, I mean, honestly, you guys think about it. We got about 2,000 people active in the community, and look how strong the market value is. Why would you quit? You know what I mean? Would be so silly to do that. There's too much value already here. Okay, what is the estimated time for the tier 5 hatchery to reopen? When you see 10,000 daily submissions, well, I'll tell you what the algorithm says. between 9,200 and 10,300. The daily submissions. That's when you will see Tier 5 hatchery open with more room. You will see Tier 1, 2, 3, 4 open first, and they're not, maxed out yet. And then Tier 5. Tier 5, you're going to have to keep your finger on the pulse. Because if anybody cancels out of Tier 5, you want to make sure you're in the nest with a card ready to go to hit that button and go right in. I would say, based on what we are working with right now, it could be 30 to 60 days before you'll see the Tier 5 hatchery open. I believe that you'll see 10,000 to 15,000 submitters in the next 60 to 80-ish days, just based on what we're building in right now. Behind the scenes, what's getting ready to come through MoveQuest. And they are coming through using the Phantom miners, just so everybody understands. That's a very powerful way to get started. There are some that will be coming in and minting the Trailblazers. But again, this is where I say it doesn't need new money. It doesn't need any of that. You can get started with the free Phantom miners. It's that engagement within the community that makes this project thrive, that drives the liquidity, that drives the market value of the token. So people don't have to come in and spend money to get started minting miners. They just come in through the Phantoms. And we got a massive team that's getting ready to onboard through the Phantoms. So you could even see 100,000 people mining in MoveQuest before beginning to midsummer.
That would be nice.
Yep. And I do really believe it's going to happen because we've been spending months on this, getting ready, and a lot of them are new to crypto. Some of them are not new to crypto. We do have a couple of teams that are working right now to get everybody together. But coming in with the Phantoms, that's the best way if you don't understand crypto, because you can get your feet wet. You don't have to fear that you're going to lose any money whatsoever, right? Because you can start here with no money out of your pocket. You do have to cover your proof of physical activity. It validates it to the blockchain. That's the only expense. So if you're mining with 18 Trailblazers, that's like $54 a month. And you're going to get, once you get your, actual miners, you're going to get that $54 a month in Q chips. But you have to have actual miners. But the Phantom miners are the great way to start, because if you go share it with 2 people and everybody says, okay, on this date at this time, we're all going to mint our 18 Trailblazers. Everybody has their $1,800 back as soon as a button is pushed, because that smart contract has already escrowed it for you, and all you have to do is go claim your $1,800 back. So it's a really great motivator for people that want to share it, and make sure that their miners are covered. So that's what takes a lot of time to organize and get ready for a lot of these. Some of them are influencers that are working. Some of them just have, teams that have been in different projects and stuff that have failed. Took a lot of them learning this project, understanding it, and then finally wow, this really makes sense. Okay, we need to get in and do this and start mining. I mean, you're already moving every day. You just want to move more. The more you move, the more MoveQuest that you're mining. You want to make sure you're taking advantage of the hatcheries, because you're really going to be able to bank more of that MoveQuest from farming. And I just answered Doug's question. I know Waleed has a lot going on, but the idea of having a leasing simulator on the MoveQuest testnet, is this still? Yes, we have talked about that. And it really won't be that difficult, and it's a great way to test it. So you will see it come up on the MoveQuest testnet before we do make it live. I mean, we could turn it on live right now per Waleed. He hasn't done it yet. Now, he could just be saying that to please me at the moment, because I can be very demanding. Or he may just really have it ready to go, but I haven't seen it in motion yet. So it'd be really great to see it on the testnet. If you had to work for me, you'd probably tell me things too, just to shut me up. But I mean, usually he's pretty good about keeping me in the loop. 2, 4, and 5, hatchery, reopen a statue. Okay, we already said that. When we receive the match miners on the additional chain, so that be considered a gift, or are we earning those in some way? No, those are not gifts. You're actually earning those because you're submitting. That's a challenge or event, whatever you want to call it. You have to submit 90 days out of the 100, and I think it was 45 or 50 days or whatever it was. If you don't submit for those 90 days, you do not get that mirrored match. You would be eligible for a 40% match. And if you didn't submit, I can't remember how many days it is without looking at my notes. That's a good thing about smart contracts, because a smart contract knows and remembers, and it does it all instantly in real time. But if you didn't qualify for the 40%, I think it was you only submitted for 30 days, then you would be eligible for the 15% mirror match. Now, add that up on all those blockchains, and that's the other value that you're getting for submitting. And even I forget to remind people of that. If you're mining with 18 Titans and you're going to get 18 Titans on 6 blockchains, that's $81,000 worth of miners that you're receiving. And you didn't even spend $400 or $500 to submit. So, it's huge value for the person. I could be wrong on that submission too. You have to take whatever $7.40 is and times it by
Times
90 days.
More than that. 650.
Yeah, it's under $1,000. So, right, it should be well under $1,000. My point is, you're getting $81,000 worth of miners. Now, you won't be. I hope everybody understands this. When we come up on all these blockchains, you only need to submit on one. But you're going to have all of these miners on these different blockchains. So you'll be able to lease these out on all of these different blockchains. These blockchains that we're bringing in is to widen it so more projects can use this protocol and bring utility to their project so people can mine their token. All right. And then hopefully they'll also want to build on the MoveQuest blockchain. So you are getting these miners. I'm going to do this $7.40. It might be more than that on Titan, but times that by 90 days. So you're spending $666. I don't like those 3 numbers, but you're spending $666 to get $81,000 worth of Titan miners. Now that's 48 miners, okay, that you're getting. And if you lease all 48 of those out, okay, that's passive, revenue from leasing your digital real estate to people who cannot afford to mint those miners, but they still want to mine. So you charge them a rental fee that's paid to you in real time. And then they're able to use your miners and they get all of the mining rewards. If they're farming, they'll be able to get all the farming rewards. So they're able to operate within the ecosystem just as if they had minted those miners themselves. But because they didn't and you did, you are charging them a rental fee. And now they can come in and they can engage in the ecosystem as well. So it's a really good way, again, to expand the community. And so when you're getting these mirror miner matches, you're not increasing your submission costs, right, times 6 or 7. You're only submitting on one chain. Now, what it does allow you to do is to go to the different chains, and if there's other projects there and you want to mine their token as well, you can submit for their token. You won't be submitting on multiple chains for MoveQuest, just one chain. You pick the chain you want to mine on, and those of you that have the MoveQuest, you're probably going to want to mine on the MoveQuest blockchain, right? That's going to be your go-to blockchain because it's going to use your MoveQuest token for your submission fees and for your gas fees. And if you're like me and you hoard your MoveQuest tokens, you're going to want to submit on one of the other blockchains and you're going to want to use a different crypto so that you can continue to hold on to your MoveQuest token. Because remember, if you use your MoveQuest token to submit, then you are emptying that bag of MoveQuest. So it all depends on what your goals are and what you want to do, but it leaves many options open to you. So, nope, you are earning those, Samantha. You will have to claim them because they're minted in real time. So we don't have an inventory of miners. You literally, like again, I said, totally decentralized and managed by smart contracts. So you'll get a button that shows up on your dashboard that says claim. There's no cost to you to claim except for the gas fee. So there's not like a in-app fee that you have to spend. You just have to spend the gas fee. And you'll go to each chain. You'll have to make sure you've got whatever their native token is. And you just click a button claim and they're minted in real time and you'll get them added to your inventory. So they're not airdropped to your wallets or nothing like that. You literally will claim them when you want them. We don't do anything manually unless like, the Q chips that are going out, they're in the process now. A script is sending them. That only that kind of stuff, but anything that's actually involved is managed through those smart contracts. The nodes. Okay, Maggie. So we will be talking more about the blockchain as soon as I have everything documented and I make sure that nothing's going to change because I don't want to tell you guys something and then have it change. So I've been kind of steering clear on the blockchain because there's so much going into that right now. And I want to make sure that when we discuss this, everybody's got the same answer. It doesn't change, Okay, I did answer that question, William. Did you not hear me? I did a real long answer to your question on the
I think
tier 4 and
it may
5.
have already been in there when you answered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does support help with the test net? I have 40 plus cards in the golden hatchery, but they do not show up. I really doubt it. I need to kind of give them some training on that test net, but don't quote me on that because they surprise me. They sometimes know more about how to set stuff up than even I do. Okay, I can tell you guys how to create this and what I want done, but that doesn't mean that I can navigate through the setup on an Android or something like that. I'm terrible with Androids. Anybody ask me for help on Android, you might as well forget it because I don't have a clue. But as far as the test net, I'm not sure about that. Your golden hatchery, in the golden hatchery, they do not show up. I'm going to ask Waleed about that. If there is an issue, I'll have him check it. So I'll check it tomorrow to see. Are you sure you're connecting to the right wallet? And are you sure that you have added that network to your DApp wallet? So you have to actually add the MoveQuest test net to your wallet, your DApp wallet, and that also might be why they're not showing up. So you'd want to make sure that you do that. Will the Q chips affect the leasing because they can pay as you go? Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't affect that at all because while they're paying as they go, they need to lease miners, right? Because they don't have their own miners. So no, it won't affect the leasing. They do show up on my other accounts. Oh, they show up on your other accounts. So, that's really weird. I don't know if you have my contact information, but if you don't, get it over to like Herschel or Hayden or Catherine, or give it to support, or we'll get it and I'll look and see what it's showing. And if there is an issue, I'm going to have Waleed check it anyway. But I think, yeah, we'll double check it, Doug, for sure. I think that's the end of the questions.
There's one you missed.
Oh, is it? Where?
Yeah, it wasn't written. It was somewhat asked at the beginning of tonight's call about your participation in the MoveQuest games.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it. Why not? What the heck? It's almost
That's all.
spring. I
You
can
don't
get
have
outside and do something.
you don't have to dig your hole any deeper. We're just gonna leave it at that. She's gonna be participating in the MoveQuest games. So that'll work. That'll work. We'll go from there. So that'll work.
All right,
That'll work. But now this is gonna be fun, you guys. If nothing else, it will be fun and entertaining. And yes, there was a couple questions earlier. This is going to be
as long
designed.
as they don't involve swimming. I cannot swim.
No
I can
water
float
involved.
all day, but I can't swim.
No water involved. So I'm going to get I'm going to get the events out as soon as possible so that people will have a good 2 to 3 months to start training. During the process, we will be doing just like, imagine the Olympics, right? If you have, if you yourself know, I'm not going to do it myself, but my son-in-law, my nephew, my cousin, my coworker, whether they're in MoveQuest or not, and you want them to represent you at the MoveQuest games, have them represent you at the MoveQuest games. Doesn't matter where they live, what country they in, they will just need to have a phone or computer to be able to log into I'm not gonna say Zoom because it'll probably be a different platform, but to log in online and be able to, they'll have instructions for framing to be in front of camera, and we're gonna run it virtually in heats, just like a track meet, but it's all gonna be on screen from people where they are, wherever they are around the world. Now, depending on the momentum, and I'm gonna throw this out there in advance and work on convincing Lynette as I go. But if we get enough participation for those that are in a position financially and time-wise, when these games are held, we may actually do an official broadcast location where people can come if they want to compete live in person, they can. Or if you just want to come and spectate and, get to meet and greet people that you've seen online for the last anywhere from year and a half to 4.5 years. We'll work out those details. These are the things when I said I'm going to be looking for help and feedback from members of the community at large to help organize and put these things together and come up with cool ideas in order to make any and everything we're doing, something to, attract and be attracted to, and not just this one time, but build something and continue to build on it and perfect it and make it better as time progresses. So those are some things for food for thought. Start get your creative juices flowing and your workouts going, because this is going to be interesting. Anything else from you this
Yeah.
evening, Ms. Lynette?
Yeah, somebody, I can't remember who asked just now, but about it was a good question. The power ups on the miners, if you lease your miner out, will the person who's leasing it, their activity power up those miners? And yes, they will. So that's really good because all of your miners that you have in inventory that you're not using, that if you're not using them, they're not powering up, right? So when you're leasing them out, they're getting that extra value, which is also going to make them more valuable when you are wanting to sell them or swap them, when we have the marketplace open for that, because the powered up miners have a higher mining power, and so they'll go for more money than just the flat mining power. So yes, the other people leasing your miners will increase their mining power.
Cool. That is cool.
So I hope everybody's excited about these I was funny because I told them in there, I said, you always have to be careful when you add things that and everybody will do it. Even when I was involved in, back after I retired, I got bored. I dabbled in multi-level marketing, which I wish I had never done. But at the time, I didn't know anything about multi-level marketing. I had never even heard of a Ponzi scheme in my life. I worked at brick and mortar, owned my own, pet supply stores and grooming salons and boarding and kenneling. So I didn't know what the heck it was. Now I do, and I stay away from all of them. But when I just lost my train of thought, what was I going to say? Oh my God. What was I getting at, Herschel? What would I just? You guys can tell when I'm really tired and ain't slept. What was my point? What was I just saying?
Hey, I'm trying to catch up with you.
Yeah,
I
me
don't know
too.
the
I don't even
direction.
know what I was going to say. My networking days. Oh, gaming the system. Sorry, that's what I was getting at.
Oh,
I
okay.
would always try to break down like what a comp plan was, or how many people would you need on your team to make X amount, blah 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 blah, and call that gaming the system or whatever you want to call it. But it's like everybody wants to see, well, how can I get the most value out of something that I'm doing? And so when MoveQuest is being built, there's so many moving parts, and has so many, it's a, it's a looped system. You always have to make sure that people don't game the system, right? So that it always stays fair. So I was in there, you guys, I said it to you in there. I said, where people try to game the system, we just gamed MoveQuest. We just made it even more gamified, because all you have to do is be active and engaged throughout the pieces that are here. And we've made it even more gamified, right? So now we've made it, instead of somebody gaming it, we've gamed it. And it's not, it's not where somebody can game it or gamify it, but we've made it fun, and anybody can do it without having to, spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to get involved. You can get involved. It's going to cost you at the least $54 to submit your proof of physical activity to validate your mining yield, and that's it. You don't have to buy miners or spend money outside of that. So I am very proud of that we've been able to do that very effectively and gamify MoveQuest. It's a real life crypto game. And that's what I was getting at. Okay, I'm done. Yep, we might have lost Herschel. I might have to close it out for you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sitting up here talking and I was muted. But no, I was just responding to Mr. Mayo, asked if we were going to be having any arcade games, and the answer is no. But feel free to dress
No,
up.
wait. You're wrong. I'm already
Oh,
working on that. I've already got people on it. Yep. No, we will have
well,
that inside.
I was speaking in
That
reference
is
to the
coming.
MoveQuest games, but yeah, that's something different. But yes, on that
Oh,
end.
well, no, okay, what I would take as arcade games would be inside. We are working on virtual races, like the tap and play. And people would get Q chips and things like that for doing that. So no, we are working on features like that as well, to gamify it even more. Avatars that move with you, that tell you when they're dehydrated, and you'll have to give them water, and you'll have to, kind of like, what do they call those? Oh, what are those things kids love? My granddaughter, I'm always buying them,
Yu-Gi-Oh
Tamagotchis.
cards or something.
No, like Tamagotchis. You know how you have to take care of your Tamagotchi and make sure you feed it and water it and all that stuff. Your avatar will be like that. It will, you'll come into the app and make sure that it's hydrated, and you'll make sure that it's, eating well, and it's got, if it's getting bigger and stronger, it's going to need, better clothes, workout clothes, and things like that. So that gamification is coming. That's part of the roadmap 2.0. I just haven't really said too much about it, but yes, that is coming.
Okay, well, I don't know about a Yamagati, whatever you call it. You left me at the Chia Pet.
Tam-
So
Tamagotchi. They're pretty popular, just like a Pokemon.
gotcha. Gotcha.
Not
So
like a Pokemon, but kind of popular like a Pokemon. They're just this little tiny thing on a keychain. You had to push these little buttons. I don't even get it. Looks like, it looks like those games we used to play back in school, like when the old Oregon Trail was coming out and stuff, back with the old Atari. And what was that other one that was called? There was Atari and another one. We had both of them. One was gray, one
Commodore.
was
I
the
used to
black
play games
Atari.
on my Commodore 64. So
Uh,
so
too
but all
funny.
right then, Miss Lynette. Again, we greatly appreciate it. We're gonna go ahead and let everybody have the rest of their evening, and we will make sure we get any and every piece of information we can out on all the things that we covered tonight as soon as possible. Be looking out for those Q chips here, by tomorrow sometime. And if they're not there, I'm
Hold
sure.
on, real quick. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just read the last message. It says they've asked twice, but no answer. No, you do not have to activate the Q chips, okay, before you can get the Q chips on your submissions. But you do have to add the Q chip contract address to your wallet, okay? And that should be already on your dashboard under the contract addresses. You should see the Q chip smart contract address. So you will have to import or add that token to your DApp wallet. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, Herschel, but I wanted to get
Oh
that
yeah,
out because
no,
I
no
didn't want to
problem.
miss that question,
Yeah.
because that was an important question. So you don't have to activate nothing. You just simply will submit, and you'll see those Q chips. They do get, I don't know if you'll have to claim them or if they'll just go to your wallet. Most likely you will have to claim them. from the app or your dashboard. But I'll let you know here the next day or two once the update is validated by Android and Apple. It'll go live, and we'll know for sure then. But I will ask Waleed, and I'll have that in the document as well.
Absolutely.
You cannot. Okay, after the match, we'll be able to swap miners from one chain to another. Okay, if you have miners on Polygon, they will always stay on Polygon. You will not be able to swap miners from one chain to another. They will be native to that chain. If they're on the MoveQuest blockchain, they'll stay on the MoveQuest blockchain. If they're on Avalanche, they have to stay on the Avalanche chain. We're not bridging those. I think that's it.
All right. Well,
We'll be like Sims. I've never played Sims, but that would be fun, wouldn't it? I'd have to really hire a little higher up maybe to get something like that, but I don't know. We'll see how crazy they get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, then, everybody, we're going to let you have back the rest of your night. Once again, we appreciate your time and attention tonight, and we'll see you on the next one.
I ain't trading minutes for a paper wage. I'm writing my own story on a digital page. Every step is a heartbeat, every breath is a toll. I'm uploading the fire from the depths of my soul. The satellite is watching, the ledger's open wide. There ain't no room for lazy, and there ain't no place to hide. MoveQuest calling, the signal is green. I'm the most valuable motor in this whole machine. This is my proof of life, forged in the struggle and the daily strife. I'm moving to earn, I'm earning to grow. From the top of the mountain to the valley below, it's a blockchain bond that you cannot break. My sweat is the currency, my life is the stake. Proof of life. They used to say wealth was a suit and a tie, but a man in a cage is just waiting to die. Now the wealth is your health, is the law of the land. I'm holding my future in the palm of my hand. Verified movement, a signature, a bone. I'm reclaiming the power of the heavy unknown. This is my proof of life, forged in the struggle and the daily strife.
electric guitar solo. Lots of bends and high notes, keeping that song sexy BPM energy high. This is my proof of life.